Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Second and 60. So we've had an interesting conversation tonight with Jake Pedler, who is the chairman of the Port Credit BIA. He is a RE/MAX broker, so he knows both residential and commercial real estate business. And he also is a proprietor at Spice Lounge on Lakeshore. And then with the proprietor of the Crooked Q, another great restaurant on Lakeshore. And we've talked about the impact of COVID-19 on the local business. And we're going to spend some time this week talking to some other people down in Port Credit and elsewhere in regards to their impact of COVID-19 on their businesses. And I think bottom line, it's been terrible. It's been devastating. Some of these restaurants for some of the lockdown time periods have gone to zero revenue. And during the other time periods, they've gone to, down by 50, 70% revenue. And at the same time, expenses are still high, whether they be rents or utilities or staff or whatever. And retail stores, often we think about the Friday after U.S. Thanksgiving is Black Friday, because it's the first time when retail stores can start to make money. And a lot of retail makes the money in, a month or maybe a month and a half between now and just before Christmas or Boxing Day. If we're not allowed to open, if those stores aren't allowed to open, what's going to happen to those businesses? And I've been, driving around, as probably some of you have been, walking around and being shocked at how many stores I see closed. Or for lease signs on them. And I think it's going to be devastating to Main Street retail and restaurant. And the bars that have live entertainment have got to be hurting even more, because clearly bars aren't operating as we were told. Some of these bars, just aren't even bars anymore. They're restaurants, because you can't stand up, you can't dance, you can't go and listen to a band. And then what about the live entertainers? And how are they surviving given what's going on? There's a restaurant down in Port Credit called Shore that's opened up a big patio out back and have allowed some people to perform, but not the big bands that would have performed in the past, and not the big crowds that would have performed in the past. So what's the answer? I think the answer is, number one, government has been compensating to a certain extent, but frankly needs to compensate more. If you think about expropriation, if government expropriated your business to build a road, or expropriated your business because they wanted to build a hospital or something like that, they would have to compensate you for the value of your business, the value of your property. If they broke a lease to kick you out, they would have to, compensate you for the value of that business. Government has effectively expropriated these businesses for a certain time period because of this public health emergency, granted, but it's because they're not ready to have the hospital capacity and all the PPE to take care of it. And so I really think the government, with these regulations that they've put in place to restrict businesses from opening, particularly when, frankly, sometimes it's not justified. And we've heard a couple times today that there's been zero infections from restaurants in Peel. Then so why do they have to close? And I've heard comparable statistics from gyms, from fitness centers. And yes, the big grocery stores and the big Walmarts and Costco's, because they sell food and are therefore deemed an emergency service, a service that's got to stay open, an essential service, get to still operate. And there's lots of people in those stores, and sometimes they're not social distancing. And I got to believe there's infection. And you and I have all heard about infections from those facilities. So I really wonder if what we're doing is we're just devastating our main streets, restaurants, and retail, those town environments that we love, that have made Mississauga, Port Credit, Streetsville, other places in Mississauga, the places that we love. Blurris Village, the beaches, not Yorkville, not just Mississauga, but around. And we got to think what we're doing. And if we take down those businesses and allow only the big, often foreign-owned big boxers to survive, what are we saying about what's important in our society? So I think some of the suggestions you're going to hear tonight, and you're going to hear in some of my other shows in regards to pivot, lower expenses, but invest in the future, online presence, managing your rent, managing your expenses, connecting with the community are all critically important. But government's got to play the role. Government's got to come in and compensate in a way that they haven't yet. Otherwise, our main street businesses, restaurants and retail that have been around for a long period of time, that have made our towns, the towns we love, walking around and shopping and dining in, dead zones. So if you've got someone you can talk to, please talk to them. And if you've got a chance to shop local or dine local or buy a gift certificate local in the next couple of weeks, please do that. Let's support our local businesses. Let's support our main streets. Thank you. Good night, everybody.